What's up guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will telling about $1 coin United States of America, a pluribus, unum.1921. The year 1921 marked a significant chapter in the history of American numismatics with the reissue of one of the most iconic coins in US history, the Morgan silver dollar. Bearing the inscriptions, United States of America, a pluribus unum, and dated 1921, this coin has captivated collectors for generations. Known for its symbolic designs and ties to American identity, this coin offers a lens into the economic, cultural, and political landscape of the early 20th century United States. This article explores the rich legacy of the 1921 dollar coin, with special attention to its design, production, historical significance, and the reasons it continues to hold a valued place in American history. The Morgan dollar origins and design. The designer, George T. Morgan. The silver dollar minted in 1921 is commonly referred to as the Morgan dollar, named after its designer George T. Morgan, a British engraver hired by the U.S. Mint in 1876. The coin first appeared in 1878 and ran until 1904. After a 17-year hiatus, it was briefly brought back in 1921. Morgan's design was revolutionary for its time. Prior to his work, most American coins used classical European imagery. Morgan instead opted to use a distinctly American theme. He modeled the personification of liberty on an American school teacher, Anna Willis Williams, making her the face of freedom and democracy on the obverse of the coin. The obverse front of the Morgan dollar features liberty's profile, crowned with a Phrygian cap, a classical symbol of freedom, and encircled by agricultural motifs, cotton and wheat, symbolizing the agricultural strength of the North and South. Above liberty's head reads the national motto, a pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the states under one nation. The date, 1921, is prominently displayed at the bottom, denoting the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin features a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows in an olive branch, symbolizing the dual capacities for war and peace. Above the eagle are the words United States of America, and below it, $1. Also featured as the motto, "In God We Trust," placed between the eagle's wings. Economic and historical context. The Silver Standard and Coinage Act of 1878. The original Morgan dollar was a product of the Bland-Allison Act of 1878, which mandated the U.S. Treasury to purchase large quantities of silver and mint them into coins. This was done to stabilize silver prices and appease the powerful mining interests in the western United States. While initially criticized for being inflationary, the act led to the widespread circulation of the Morgan dollar and established silver as a key component of U.S. monetary policy. The decline and cessation in 1904. By the early 1900s, the demand for silver coins had dwindled, and the Treasury's silver reserves were nearly depleted. As a result, production of the Morgan dollar was stopped in 1904, replaced eventually by the peace dollar, a coin that would reflect post-World War aspirations. The 1921 revival. In 1918, the Pittman Act called for the melting down of over 270 million silver dollars to support Britain during World War I and to maintain the price of silver. In 1921, as part of the Act's requirements, silver dollars had to be remint. Thus, the U.S. Mint resumed production of the Morgan dollar, using slightly modified dies. The 1921 version was different in appearance, more shallowly struck and mass-produced, lacking some of the finer details of earlier editions. The 1921 dollar coin in detail. Minting locations. In 1921, Morgan dollars were minted at 3 U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia No Mint, mark.Denver D Mint, mark San Francisco S Mint, mark. The Denver Mint marked the first time Morgan dollars were produced there, making the 1921 D version especially notable. Mintage numbers. The 1921 Morgan dollar saw an unprecedented mintage of over 86 million coins, the highest total of any year in the series. This was driven by the obligations under the Pittman Act and rising post-war economic activity. Design quality. Due to the rush to fulfill the Pittman Act requirements and the wear of old dies, many 1921 Morgan dollars exhibit lower detail quality compared to earlier strikes. Nevertheless, they remain essential pieces for collectors due to their historical importance and mass production scale. Symbolism and national identity. Liberty and democracy. The figure of Lady Liberty, proudly shown wearing a Phrygian cap, is a symbol deeply rooted in democratic ideals. It connects the United States with ancient republican Rome, representing the free citizen unshackled. Coin collecting, or numismatics, is not just a hobby but a deep dive into history, art, politics, and economy. Among the myriad coins minted by the United States, few evoke as much admiration and intrigue as the Morgan silver dollar. These large silver coins, originally minted from 1878 to 1904 and then again in 1921, are a favorite among collectors. In this essay, we explore a specific coin, a 1921 Morgan dollar, which, according to your description, features an error and is in a duller condition. This analysis will unpack the historical context of the Morgan dollar, the specific of the 1921 issue, types of mint errors that can occur, how these affect value, and how to determine whether your coin holds exceptional value in the numismatic market. The origins of the Morgan dollar. The Morgan dollar gets its name from its designer, George T. Morgan, an English engraver who came to the U.S. Mint in the late 19th century. Commissioned by the mint director Henry Lindemann, Morgan's design marked a departure from earlier coinage. Design features obverse, features Lady Liberty facing left with the words A pluribus unum above and the date below. Reverse depicts a majestic eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows in an olive branch, surrounded by the words United States of America, $1, and In God We Trust. The Morgan dollar was introduced as part of the Bland-Allison Act of 1878, which required the U.S. Treasury to purchase large amounts of silver and convert it into coins. This act was a result of political pressure from silver miners in western states. The unique nature of the 1921 Morgan dollar. The Morgan silver dollar was discontinued in 1904 when the supply of silver bullion ran out. However, it saw a one-year resurrection in 1921 due to the Pittman Act of 1918, which mandated the melting of millions of older silver dollars and the eventual reminting of coins to replace them. Why the 1921 Morgan is special? Last year of the series, 1921 was the final year the Morgan design was used until a commemorative version returned in 2021. Different minting process. In 1921, the coins were struck with new hubs and dies, which led to slightly cruder and more shallow designs compared to earlier Morgans. Mintage. Over 86 million Morgan dollars were minted in 1921 alone. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Transitional coin. It served as a bridge between the Morgan and the upcoming peace dollar, which was introduced later in 1921. Understanding coin errors and varieties. Your mention of error implies the coin may have some kind of minting mistake. Mint errors are among the most sought after coins by collectors, and depending on the nature of the error, such a coin could be extremely valuable. Common types of Morgan dollar errors. Die breaks. Cracks in the die can cause raised lines on the coin, off center. Strikes. Coins not perfectly centered during striking. Double die. A doubling of elements like the date or lettering. Clipped planchettes. A portion of the coin is missing due to a miscut blank. Error. A raised, unstruck area usually near the rim due to a broken die, specific to 1921 Morgans. Weak strikes due to high-speed production and worn dies. Misaligned dies. A common error in this year's production. Color appearance. This could result from a worn die or a low-pressure strike. If your coin appears duller than usual, it might be due to a die fatigue error, where the die used to strike the coin had degraded and lost sharpness, leading to a less detailed and flat appearance. Numismatic value of the 1921 Morgan dollar. The value of any coin depends on four main factors: date, mint mark, condition, and rarity. For error coins, the nature and visibility of the error also play a significant role. Date and mint mark. The 1921 Morgan was minted in Philadelphia. No mint mark. Denver. D. San Francisco. S coins from Denver and San Francisco tend to fetch slightly higher prices, especially in better conditions. Condition. Grade. Coin grading ranges from poor P1 to mint state. $8 coin is likely in good G2 very fine VF condition unless the dullness is due to an error, not wear. Rarity of error. The value of error coins varies wildly. Minor die crack might add a few dollars, while a dramatic off-center strike could make a coin worth thousands. I appeal. Despite errors a rarity, dull or unattractive coins may not command high prices unless the error is rare and dramatic. Authentication and evaluation. Before assuming your 1921 Morgan dollar with an error as valuable, it's crucial to verify its steps to authenticate and evaluate. Weigh the coin. A genuine Morgan weighs 26.73 grams. Something significantly lighter might be a counterfeit or worn.